Look, here's the good news. You already have all the content and knowledge you need to grow your channel to 100K or more subscribers. How do we know? Because we've gotten over 4 times that amount and are still growing at over 10,000 subscribers per month. The bad news? You're probably going about learning how to grow a YouTube channel fast the wrong way. In today's article, we're going to give you the exact workflow framework you need to learn how to grow a YouTube channel by using your old content. All right, let's not keep you waiting. Lesson number 1, go for volume and views will follow. Anybody who says quality over quantity doesn't live in the 21st century. There's simply too much content vying for people's attention to believe that the best way to grow on social media is to sit around and try to one shot, one kill your content, or even 3 shots, one kill your content. A 30% batting average might work in baseball, but it certainly doesn't work in the land of clicks and likes. Thus, a much better mantra is use quantity to get to quality. Platforms like YouTube will reward you handsomely for creating a massive quantity of videos on their platform. Start to grow your YouTube channel fast by attacking volume first and foremost, and allow the algorithm to be your friend. This even works with old channels and content. We personally grew our views and subscribers 4x in a month by going for volume first and foremost, and then working out the kinks as we went along, which we'll teach you in lesson number 2. Therefore, we at Howtopreneur want to first train you how to pump out videos painlessly and consistently, avoiding the dreaded consistency drop, and then you will grow your YouTube channel much faster. So how exactly, you ask, do you pump out volume without going insane? Lesson number 2, repeatable is unbeatable. Repeatable is unbeatable is our signature phrase for explaining that you need to have an autopilot system to create your videos efficiently. You want a workflow that makes creating your YouTube videos as painless and repeatable as possible. At Howtopreneur, now that we've been able to create a video from start to finish, script, video shoot, editing, and posting in less than 5 hours, our views have been able to go up more than 400% purely by releasing more videos. We wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have essentially a painless, repeatable system for creating videos on a moment's notice. The reason this is important is because most YouTubers experience one of 3 things that makes their channel tank early on: YouTube burnout, adding too many variables, or can't pick a horse syndrome. YouTube channel burnout is where you or your audience get tired of releasing the same old video format over and over again. On your end, that might mean that you essentially feel like you're regurgitating the same points and nobody's listening despite all the work you're putting in. On the audience's side, that might seem like you haven't innovated or added anything new to the sauce, and they start clicking away to bigger, badder competitors. Therefore, in order to avoid burnout, for both you and your audience, you must create a consistent workflow that makes things easy to mix and match. You want to be able to pull and insert video ideas that work and drive 10K plus views consistently, as we have done, or create a new video workflow that is equally as painless that you can build from. You can still use your old content, but because you are placing it in a more reproducible and palatable package, it will feel brand new. Avoid burnout by identifying what works in the video creation process and double down on that. Of course, the easiest way to know what to double down on is by not adding too many variables. Adding too many variables is where a new YouTuber tries to build a course, start a Patreon, run a YouTube channel, and live stream Twitch all in the same short time frame. By adding so many options vying for both you and your audience's attention, you truly become a jack of all trades and a master of none. The sheer amount of technological know-how required to pull off all of these things at once can become extremely tiring and confusing for you as a creator. The best system is to master one workflow, such as knowing how to do the perfect YouTube intro over the course of 3 to 5 videos, and then moving on to the next workflow. And once you have mastered the art of perfecting a listicle video, for example, then you can move on to another workflow. By doing it this way, you have locked down the variables and truly picked a horse to ride through the race. And can't pick a horse syndrome is similar to adding too many variables in that it describes when a YouTuber is trying to do too much on one channel. The YouTuber is trying to do live streams, podcasts, short clips, listicles, and so much more all on one channel. We know this doesn't work because we've tried it several times and seen our views tank. A perfect example is when we tried to release high-quality rapper biographies on our main rap tutorial channel. Despite us covering the exact same rappers our audiences would normally flock to like pigeons on bread, the fact that we had changed the format out of the blue had our click-through rates plummet to under 2%. This is because we hadn't picked a horse and added too many variables for the audience. Therefore, pick a horse, format-wise, that you're gonna master for a while and then spread it out. Consider consider even doing another channel if you want an entire new format. However, do not try to throw everything at the kitchen sink. The audience doesn't like it, and eventually you won't like it, because once you start to feel the burnout we talked about earlier. And lesson number 3 is die hard on a bus. Die hard on a bus is what we're gonna call the tactic of looking at the most successful YouTube videos in your niche and doing your version of it. The film Die Hard was such a tour de force in the action genre that it became essentially the go-to story format for other action films for a decade, but they just put the main environment in a different location. In other words, rather than setting the Die Hard storyline in a building taken over by terrorists as the first film did, the 90s was filled with a different version of the same concept. Speed in 1994 was Die Hard on a bus. Air Force One in 1997 was Die Hard on a plane. Under Siege was Die Hard on a battleship, and Cliffhanger was Die Hard on a mountain, and so on and so on and so on. Utilize the Die Hard on a bus technique by doing your own version of your competitor's best work. Prodigious YouTube coach Brian Dean calls this the sequel technique, wherein you find a successful video in your niche and then make a bigger, badder version of it on your channel. If you're trying to get into the Mexican tourism niche and the top video says 5 things to do in Tulum, Mexico on vacation, make a 10 things to do in Tulum on vacation video with better camera work and a clearer value proposition. Don't be afraid if you can succeed in the sequel format either. If you've ever seen The Godfather 2, you know that at least one human has managed to accomplish the seemingly impossible task of making a sequel better than the first. I'm shaking my head at you, Matrix 4. So if you get nothing else out of this diatribe, understand that you want to become Henry Ford. Build the assembly line. The easiest ways to do this are, as we've said, make sure that you can reproduce a consumable set of concepts on video for your audience in a consistent fashion. Don't be afraid to get your John McClane on and do better versions of similar channels with your own unique knowledge. And for the love of Jesus, please stop trying to do 80 things at once. As Bruce Lee once said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times.